Welcome to King of Catan episode 7. My name is Treeckosaurus and this is actually the first playoff game for King of Catan season 2. The top 16 players in King of Catan have qualified for the playoffs and allow me to introduce the 4 first semi-finalists in this game. Djinn plays Catan, finished 12th and won quite a lot of games prior to this, so his form is great. Robijs, an excellent player from Latvia who finished 5th in the playoff qualification. Robijs also is a former King of Catan just like Djinn, so very good player. Next up is Parkview, who finished 4th in the playoff qualification with an impressive 7 wins out of 17 games. Last but not least is Nuke X, a little bit the dark horse in this game, a very skilled player who, despite not playing as many games as was still able to collect enough playoff points to qualify for this game. So there we have the semi-finalists. Let's jump right into the game. And we see a really challenging board for this one. Djinn is picking first and he is eyeing over the 10-9-5, which he actually takes, and he's pointing his road towards the coast. And I think this is a pretty good pick by Djinn. Because ore is so rare on this board, only a 10-3 and another 3, he is really picking the best ore spot and also a pretty good wheat spot. Wheat is pretty rare on this board as well, 10, 9, 11 and 11. I think this is for sure the best pick. The spot I was looking at as well is the 8-3-10, and that might be kind of a surprise because it's a really low production spot, but with that spot you double up on ore. And although I do think that 10-9-5 is the better pick here, I wouldn't be like surprised or angry at someone if he would pick the 8-3-10 really early on in the game. We also have a 5-9-10 at the top of the map, and it's actually Robijs' turn right now, so let's see what he will decide to do. There's also a 6-5-11, but the thing is that I think sheep is decently well represented, especially lumber is really key. It's really well represented on this board. So let's see what Robijs decides to pick here. It's actually Robijs. From my Dutch perspective, I think I gotta say it as Robijs, as he takes the 5-9-10, and I actually think this road pick is really good. Like, maybe the obvious pick was to go to the ore port or point downwards, but I think pointing towards this, you gotta assume the 6-5-11 gets picked, so I don't think he expects to get the 6-5-12, but I think he expects the 12-9 with the 3-1 port. And when you have so low ore and pretty low wheat as well, you gotta expect that a port strategy wins this game. Like, you gotta eventually need ore and wheat, and I think the best way to get it is to get a really decent resource gain and get a good port with it. So really excellent ports are the sheep, the lumber and the brick port, especially with so much lumber on this board. I haven't talked about Parkview's pick yet. I assuming it's a he, decided to go for the 6-4-11. And I think that leaves a lot of options open to take with a second settlement. For example, the 6-5-11 could be good. I don't think the 6-3 with the brick port really... Well, it might be good enough. Because you also have brick near it. I think it really depends on whether the other... What do the other players pick? If that's good enough. You do collect all 5 resources, so you might be able to make some good plays. But you also don't have really high production, and that could bite you over this game. So let's have a look at what Nuke X is going to decide here, because this is a really challenging position for him. He could go for the 8-3-10 and the 6-5-11, which would... Well, there is also a possibility to pick up all 5 resources, but I don't think that gives enough production on this board. Usually it's pretty good as the 4th player to pick as much production as you can get. Usually you don't have the premier spots on the map, so you gotta come up with a good strategy which generates also pretty decent and overall stable production. But this map is pretty different. Okay, he decides to go for the 8-3-10. Shumi going... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was assume he pointed his road towards the lumber port, because he picks up decent lumber. And these ports might be key in this game. And also he doesn't put himself in a race with Djinn for the sheep port. That could be key here. Wonder. Okay, he decides to go for the 4, 8, 10. Okay, interesting for sure. I was doubting whether is the 6, 5, 11 isn't that better to go for, especially if you try to go to the lumber port. But this might be correct. You also pick up the best, well, one of the best weeds. Parkview decided to go with the 6, 5, 11. So he gets all 4 resources for settlements, and I think he's assuming here that Robijs and Djinn don't take the 3, 9, 11, so he can better his wheat and also gain ore. So let's see if that works out. Because now Robijs is picking, he has the 5, 9, 10 selected as his first settlement. I assume he's looking for ore in a way, but I don't think that really cuts it because there is barely any ore. You would be able to get the 3, 9, 10, 3, 9, 11, I'm sorry, and the 6, 3 as options. Also the 8, 3 is also another option for ore. The 8, 3 would collect him all 5 resources, but I'm not sure whether that's good enough. It might be good enough though, but you don't generate enough wheat maybe for that strategy. I'm not sure. You also block Nuke X, so I guess that's a good thing about that. But there are other options as well. For example, the lumber port. You could get you gain all 4 settlement resources and you gain a lot of lumber with a lumber port. That seems pretty good. And you also pick up a free road with the 8-4. Kind of like it. About the 3, 9, 11 you do pick up a lot of wheat, which is pretty rare, and you pick up some ore. Okay, Robijs decides to go for the 8-4. I think this is the correct move. I don't know if I would have done the same, but I think it's the correct move, yeah. It's a really challenging board for sure. Djinn is picking next. Djinn picked the 10, 9, 5 in the bottom. If he picks up decent sheep, then he could have the best development card strategy. For example, the 6-3 with the brick port could be good here. There's also the option to go for the 8-3 slightly above that. Okay, it looks like he's going for that. Other options as well. I think you need a way to get sheep eventually to win this game. Because I think Djinn has pretty good odds of taking army with this spot as well. I don't mind it. I might have... Well, it's a bit risky as well, I think. You might be a bit slow in trying to get to the 6-3 because you need this 6-3, otherwise you probably don't win. But I like the double up on ore. Okay. Onto the game. I think everyone has pretty good spots and Nuke has a bit of a tricky one. Especially now he got blocked to both spots he wanted to settle on. If he could have gotten the lumber port, then he would have been in a great spot. I think now he is in a questionable spot. It will be really tough for him to win this. He does double up on the 8, which gets coordinated resources, and on the 10, which gets him coordinated resources with the ore, wheat, and the lumber and brick. So a trade is proposed. So this is a bit of an overlay difference. Djinn is recording this game, and I usually record the games from the Steam version from my PC, and Djinn is playing from his phone and recording from that as well. So yeah, really appreciate that the players try to record the game so I can make commentaries for that for the channel, so you can watch it. Because I think these playoffs are really the pinnacle of King of Catan seasons. And also nerfs might actually be a factor here. 3 rolled by Parkview. So it's up for also another 3 for Nuke X. Okay, so that picks up a lot of ore for players. Nuke X profits from that, and Djinn does as well. And let's see what Nuke X decides. Nuke X, I mentioned him as the dark horse. He's pretty much the dark horse because he didn't play that much in King of Catan, so he didn't have a high playoff points, but I know this guy wins a lot of games. He he plays tournaments as well, and he wins in there as well. He qualifies for next round and stuff and gets semi-finals. So a 7 roll by Djinn, and he decided to block Parkview here, and that's interesting, I think. Are there any knights? No, there are no knights. Okay, so he thinks Parkview is in the best spot. I think it's Robijs. Yeah, I think it's Robijs with the lumber port. I would have gone for that, but you also block 2 resources and a really great number, so that's kind of good. Maybe you're trying to prevent Parkview. I don't know. So Nuke has a lot of roads in hand for sure. Trying to get wheat here. Maybe he's able to cut off Djinn. Okay. Maybe he would have been able to build on the 6 tree instead of the brickboard. So 7 rolled by Djinn, if I'm not mistaken. Some of our overlay ahead of that. Yeah, and he decides to block Parkview again. Interesting. Or does he? I know there's table talk going on. Okay, he's considering other options. Okay, he blocks Nuke X here. I think Robijs is doing an excellent job of table talking him into not robbing him. I know Robijs does this a lot, so it's pretty effective. Settlement by Parkview. And this is key for Parkview. Okay, so a 7 rolled and Nuke X. Oh no, I'm mistaken. Djinn has to hand in 4 resources here. I assume he tries to save the city. I think this is correct for sure. Now let's see if Nuke X decides to block the 9 wheat. This would... Okay, he decides to block the 4 brick. Interesting. I think he does that because he has a lot of brick as well, so he becomes the brick master. Like that really creates a great trading position for him. If like someone needs brick, they gotta trade with Nuke, and he knows that, so he can ask for 2 for 1s and 3 for 1s and stuff like that, 3 for 2s maybe, and get excellent resources because he needs this trade. He needs to get sheep and what else? I guess ore? No, he does get ore. Okay, he lacks only sheep. But if the 10 doesn't roll, he lacks a lot. 8 rolled, and that's excellent for Nuke again. And a 4 as well. Okay, now let's see if Nuke is able to build a settlement on the 6 tree and the brick board. If he does, he is in an amazing spot right now. The other players won't let that happen. Maybe he's able to do it with... Okay, he's trying to offer 2 for 2. I don't think that's going down. Yeah, as we see in chat right now, they're really trying to deny this trade. Okay, he's offering a 3 for 2 with ore as well. I think ore is a pretty rare resource, so might be something that players are looking for, but 2 for 1 doesn't seem like to go down. Okay, another 4 rolled, yeah. And 7 rolled by Djinn. Okay, he decided to block Nuke X. I think this is correct for sure, because he's trying to raise Nuke X to this brick board. And especially the 6 wheat, which is key for Djinn to win this game. I think whoever wins this spot has a pretty good chance of winning, and then whoever loses this spot is pretty difficult to win. So Nuke rolls another 7 and an 8 again. Holy cow, we've seen many 8s so far. Okay, he's trying to get weed. So Nuke is really trying everything to get the settlement before Djinn does. And I think Djinn has it in hand right now. No, I'm mistaken. Djinn lacks sheep and lumber. So Nuke still lacks brick. Or maybe he's trying to get a 4 for 1 with brick. I assume he still... Yeah, for sure he has brick. offering 2 brick for lumber. So he's trying to get a 4 for 1 with brick for lumber. So that really tells you something. Like, it's really important to keep track of players' hands. Like, you gotta know what's in their hand to take this. Doesn't he have lumber? Oh wait, he was trying to get lumber as well as to get a 4 for 1. Interesting. So this turn didn't work out, so let's see if Djinn is able to pick up a resource. He rolls the 8. Djinn doesn't have a board, does he? So let's see if he can get a trade with someone. Offering 2 brick. And this way he can get a 4 for 1 trade for lumber. And Robijs is considering it. Robijs is playing his green. As you can see in the top right of the screen. Maybe he prefers Djinn to have this settlement over Nuke X. Because Nuke X picks up a lot of brick. Yes, he does. Now he's able to make a 4 for 1 trade here. Maybe it would have been wise if Djinn pretended he didn't have the 4 for 1 and could go for the sheep in another wave if trading for an opponent. But that's too late for that now. As he picks up the sheep, which is huge for him. He has the best ore, best sheep, the best sheep and the best wheat. So really strong move by challenging Nuke X to this spot. And recognizing that Robijs is willing to trade with him. As Robijs rolled another 8. Nuke X gotta be happy with that. And Robijs also probably, because he picks up lumber with that, which he can use for his lumber board. Let's see what Robijs' goals might be. He doesn't give information away a lot. Like what he's trying to do. He could try to get a city with his lumber somehow. I wonder who... I think Djinn has the best odds for taking army. I think Nuke X with these coordinated 8s has good chance of taking road. Robijs might have a chance to take road, and Parkview has his settlements really close to each other, so if he gets enough force rolling, then he might be able to get road as well. So Robijs trades in his lumber. And he is actually able to get the settlement here. Very crucial turn for Robijs here. As Parkview rolls the 6 and again ends his turn. This is something I noticed in this game for sure. That Parkview is really trying to play fast in this game. And I'm not really sure why. If you take more time, then you also have more time to like negotiate trades and but maybe I can't hear the audio, so maybe he's trying to do that in opponent's turns. That could be a reason for that. So Nuke is trying to get to either the 3-1 port or just this 6-2. I assume with the coordinated 8 on brick and lumber that he might be able to actually go to the 3-1 port pretty effectively. And people might start trading with him as well right now, because now losing this trade he might be the dead player who takes that road. Yeah, that's interesting. Is Nuke X at a dead player right now? I don't think he is, but... No, I don't think he is. No, for sure not. But he has a really interesting strategy. Still has the best ore gain, well, with Djinn right now. Djinn actually got a better one because he was able to settle on the 6-3. Ooh, Nuke X is already able to build a settlement there. As a 10 rolled, so he picks up wheat and... No, he doesn't pick up wheat because that's blocked. A 4 rolled. So pretty fast game so far. Okay, I think that's... I don't see why. I'm not sure what Parkview has in his hand, but I would try to use these resources to build a settlement on the 3-for-1 port for Parkview, instead of building a road to the 411. But I'm not sure whether he has lumber and brick in hand. If he does, then this is the correct move for sure. But also he didn't propose trade, so let's see what Nuke is going to do again. As the 9 rolled, and Djinn is trying to get a development card. No, he denied. Okay, he actually got it, and he picked up a knight. So I think this is a great move by Djinn, recognizing that he has the best chances of getting army and going for that. And this knight will help him a lot. Currently the 10 wheat is blocked, but that won't be the case forever. Parkview is trying to get sheep, but Djinn recognizes that if Parkview gets the settlement, once the settlement, he gotta pay a good price for that. Parkview is offering a 2-for-1. Djinn keeps trying to get the 3-for-1 from Parkview. And it seems like it went down. Yeah, okay. So a really strong move by Djinn to actually get the 3-for-1 off, and recognizing that Parkview wants this 3-for-1 board. Brick for wheat. So it's essentially that brick. Like, Nuke recognizes, okay, I have the most brick, people probably need brick. So, especially, okay, everyone does gain brick, but only from the 4. Djinn also gains it from the 8. So he might be able to, like, he's offering brick, so people will start offering their resources, and then he can start using them. And Djinn built on the sheep board. What does this do for him? Now he's able to convert his sheep from the 6 sheep into other resources he might need. For example, ore and wheat. Seems pretty good. And Robijs takes road from Nuke X. So I think Robijs is in the best spot right now. If I were in the game, I would would put my attention on him. And that's something I know Robijs is trying to hide his game as much as possible. Like, he tries to put the attention on others as much as possible, and also so these road buildings are a bit out of line from what he usually does. Because now he takes road and actually becomes the target. But he rolled a 7 himself, so recognizing. Yeah, okay, that's just a bit lucky. Okay, let's see where he will decide to take this. To the wheat, where everyone is settled on. I think this is an excellent pick. Doesn't do that much for Parkview, but this is really bad for Djinn, and I think as well, Nuke does gain from the 10 as well. Really depends on if the 10 gets rolled or not, how bad it is for him. So we actually see a kick timer, but I can guarantee you this game continues with 4 players. So this is either a fake kick timer or Nuke X comes back. Okay, it was a fake one. As Nuke makes this 3-for-1 trade for lumber, so he can go to the 11-4 and trying to beat Parkview in this race. So Nuke X and Parkview are currently in a race for this 11-4 spot. The Djinn is offering sheep. Okay, that's pretty interesting since he built on the sheep board. I think he's trying to get something better than a 2-for-1 here. And I think trading with Parkview would be good for him. Nuke X maybe as well. Well, Nuke X actually became pretty dangerous because he somehow still is able to build settlements. Despite... I think he should have relatively low resource gain. But I think the 8 is rolling enough to make him not feel that effect. Wheat for ore offered. Djinn recognizes that he needs 2 wheat to build a city. Robij is offering a 2 for 2, which would give Djinn a city as well, and Robij as well. At this point in the game, I think I wouldn't trade with Robij. Especially because he will build on the 5, 9, 10, but maybe Djinn thinks he needs this as well. Okay, he does. Maybe it's a correct move because the 9 is also blocked. I think not though, because you have sheep and brick in hand and you can trade them 2 for 1 both for wheat. Yeah, I think this city means more to Robij than to Djinn. But we'll see what happens. Maybe it's a correct move. Maybe you gotta assume that Nuke takes road. With these double up on 8. And then everything is fine and it was the correct move. Because then they both gain the resources. And I think a city... Well, cities for road players are worth more than for ORV cheap player. And Robij is playing with road and Djinn is playing with the ORV cheap game. But maybe it's also correct for Djinn to get 2 development cards here. Or maybe even 3 if he trades in his brick as well. Nuke X is trying to get the settlement here for sure. It is his only settlement not on the board. So his next target should be a city. As he's trying to gain lumber with brick and ore. So that tells me he's trying to get a settlement. And he trades it with Robij. Interesting to see that Nuke X decides he doesn't mind trading with Robij here. I think Robij is in an excellent spot. When he gets the settlement down, he's at 8. He does need to gain the remaining 2 victory points though, but I think he's able to do that, especially with this lumber port. 2 ore offered by Djinn. And Parkview offers wheat. Do you want to trade with Parkview, Djinn? Doesn't seem like it. Or maybe, okay, Robij offered lumber and wheat for this. I think trading with Parkview is correct here. Like what I would do in this case is I would say, hey, Robij offered me lumber and wheat, I prefer trading with you. If you can offer the same, we got a deal, Parkview. Because I think Parkview is, especially now he got cut off by Nuke X to the 11-4, is not much of a threat, I think. He could get road, but it will be difficult for him to get a city. So going to 10 victory points will be difficult for Parkview. It seems like the trade doesn't go down at all, and Djinn gets a settlement and a city on the same turn. Really, really explosive. So the 9 rolled. And I think Robij recognizes that Djinn is scary right now. Especially with his ability to gain the army. And Robij is fighting for road with Nuke X. So Robij is trying to get the settlement on the... He's offering wheat. That's interesting. I wonder what resource he needs. Okay, oh, he's trying to get a city. Ooh. Then Robij is super scary because he can just get settlements, which is the easiest thing in the world for him, and he will be at 10. But he does need to hold off Nuke in this race for road, and Parkview decided Robij must be blocked to win this game. Nuke X is able to get a city, which is huge for him, because now he doesn't have 5 settlements on the board anymore, which is kinda, I try to become, I try to get in the spot as least as possible to have 5 settlements on the board. Sometimes you have to when you doing like a 2-for-1 port strategy, but in I prefer to not have that situation. But I guess Nuke X does gain a lot of ore and wheat, so it doesn't matter that much. Parkview was able to get a city as well, but I think Parkview is a dead player in this game. I don't think he has any chance of winning this. I said that about, well, I questioned that about Nuke X before as well, but I think Nuke X is still up and alive because he's at 6 victory points. He has a good chance of taking road, and he still has a settlement left. And he's actually able to get that last victory point relatively easy. So what is Nuke X? He has 9 cards in hand. So he does have options, especially with this 3-to-1 board. I think his next steps should be try to go get the 5-2, so he can cut off Djinn. Or maybe try to get road to make Robijs less of a threat. It's all in the options for him. Maybe this kind of works together. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this goes. These two plans go well together. And now Robijs really has to commit to get road back, otherwise he doesn't. Well, he basically doesn't win. Djinn is trying to get ore, but no player is really either having it or wanting it. As Djinn is able to get the city here, and this is something I find interesting. I think Djinn has options here. Like, he could gain a city on either the 6 tree or the 8 tree, whatever you want. But he also has the possibility to gain development cards here. And you really gotta look at, okay, how do I win right now? And in my opinion, you should get knights here. With these development cards, you gain control of the robber because you get knights. And if you pick up 2 knights, then you just save the other resources, so you can build a city the next turn. You gotta somewhat do it sequentially, and also at the same time to really speed up your game to the 10 victory points. You gotta recognize that Nuke is close to 10. He has a development card in hand as well, which might be a victory point. So he could actually be at 9 here. So maybe it's also a possibility. I'm not sure if my math is correctly. I don't think it's really possible to gain the spot Nuke is on. No, I don't think so. Maybe he could try to propose a trade with someone. Like, if he says something like, okay, Nuke is at 9. We've seen that this development card is not a knight. Trade with me, then I can get the settlement spot. I promise that I won't get a city. I won't win this turn, but I try to make it as difficult for Nuke as possible and actually get him out of settlement spots, so he would need to get a city for his last one. I think that's something I would do, but okay. So he decides to get a city at the 6 tree and also gets a development card. Let's see what he picks up with this. Ooh, Monopoly, interesting. So if he gets a next turn, then this is a really strong one. And Robijs should try to get road here for sure. Can't. Okay, he steals a wheat from Nuke. That's strange. How does it give the information that gets wheat? Like on PC you don't get the information. I think that's that's pretty broken. Okay, but he also is offering brick. Was trying to get brick for 3-for-1. Now he gets a settlement. Okay, okay. And now it's Nuke's turn. Let's see if he has 5 cards in hand. And he rolls the 11, so he gains wheat. With a city, he's there. With a settlement, he is there, assuming this is a victory point. Let's see what he is able to do. If the 11 rolled all Parkview. Okay, it's Year of Plenty. Okay, so it's not a victory point. So he gets ore and lumber. He could get a development card. Yes, he does. Oh, the game ended. Okay, so he got a victory point. So that brings Nuke X as the first finalist for the Season 2 Grand Final for King of Catan. Congratulations to him. I think it was really impressive. I think this victory was really difficult to get, but he also was lucky because, as you can see on the screen right now, he had a lot of 8 being rolled, and also the 10, which he doubled up on. So I guess he got kind of lucky on that. The 5 rolled only 3 times. I'm not sure who was settled on the 5. I think Djinn. Yeah, Djinn was settled on the 5 lumber. So that was kind of unlucky for him. So we go through the statistics a bit. Yeah, okay, so awesome game. Nuke X is the first finalist for the Season 2 Grand Final for King of Catan. If you want to enjoy this tournament and community as well for Season 3, sign up right now in the comments. You can find the links in the description. You can find the links. I would be happy to welcome you, as we can play with awesome players like Djinn, like Robijs, like Parkview and Nuke X. Thank you for watching and have a good day.